Yo, what's up YouTube? This is Steve Burkett back with another guitar lesson. Today we're going to be looking at an old classic, Sum 41, In Too Deep. Okay, so the first part, you start off with an open E string going up to the 7th fret on the A. Then you're going to repeat that, but follow it with 6th fret on the D, 7th fret on the D, 9th fret on the D, and then back down to the 7th fret on the D. Okay, and then you're going to play 4 notes on the 7th fret of the D, like a triplet followed by a single note. You're going to go down to the 6th fret on the D, to the 9th fret on the A, and then back to the 6th fret on the D, finishing on the 7th fret of the D. So that whole section. Keeping it all very palm muted. Okay, so the next section, this plays on top of that first section. You're going to start off with your 4-note pattern that we learned earlier on the 9th fret of the D. And then we're going to move on to, we're going to hit the 9th fret of the G, back down to the 9th fret of the D, up to the 9th fret of the B, back down to the 9th fret of the D. But we're going to keep it all very palm muted. You're going to play your 4-note pattern again. We're going to go down to the 7th fret of the D, 6th fret of the D, back up to the 7th, finishing on the 9th. Okay, so moving on to the pre-chorus. The first guitar is simply going to be playing an E5 up to an A5. Building up the last time around. The second guitar part is going to be playing partial chords higher up on the neck. So on top of the E5 you're going to be playing an E major triplet, so that's the 9th fret of the D, 9th fret of the G, 9th fret of the B. You're going to be playing like short, sharp stabs down to an A major triad, which is a 7th fret on the D, 6th fret on the G, 5th fret on the B, back up to the 9th. And to finish that off, on the build-up of the first guitar, you're going to be playing that, which gives it the feeling of descending. So that is 4th fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the D string, down to 2nd fret on the A and D, and then you're going to play open A, 2nd fret on the D, building up with the first guitar. Okay, moving on to the chorus, we're just going to be going from an E5 to an A5 again. The strumming pattern is you play 2 E5s, and then you're going to give 2 dead notes, and then you're going to play 4 A5s, another 2 dead notes, and repeat the pattern. Until the last time around when you play 2 A5s and hit some dead notes with the snare roll. Okay, to finish off the chorus, we're going to go up to the 7th fret of the A string and play a power chord, down to the 5th fret of the A string, down to the 5th fret of the low E. Okay, so for the rhythm guitar, the post-chorus is all power chords. It's a repetitive pattern played 4 times. So what you're going to do is you're going to play 2 power chords on the open E. You're going to go up here to the 7th fret of the A string and play another E power chord. And then you're going to go down to the 5th fret of the E string, down to the 4th fret of the E string and back up to the 5th fret. All power chords. And the fourth time around you go down to the second fret of the E and finish on the fourth fret of the E power chord, going into the verse. Okay, so the second guitar pretty much does the same thing, except after 2 times around its pattern changes, and instead of going to the 7th fret of the A string, you go to the 6th fret of the D and play an octave. So that would be the 6th fret on the D, 9th fret on the B, following that same pattern. Okay, so the second verse is all power chords. You're going to play an E5. You're going to go up to the 4th fret of the E string and play a power chord there. You're going to play 2 on the 5th fret. Play another one on the 5th fret. Back down to the E5. Play the 4th and 2 on the 5th again. And then repeat that. Okay, the second pre-chorus, it's the same thing again, so E5 to A5. Okay, so the second pre-chorus is the same as the first, E5 to A5. Then you play another chorus. And then the second post-chorus is fairly similar, except it's leading into the solo this time. So it kind of follows the same idea, but it's got a different strumming pattern. Down, up, up. So you're going to go down, up, up, and then down again as you hit the E5 on the 7th fret of the A string. Sliding it down. Finishing with some dead notes. Okay, moving on to the solo. In the example I played both harmonies. I mean, if you were to play it on its own, you would play the first one twice. If you've got 2 guitars, then it's kind of worth having the harmony because it sounds pretty cool. So the solo starts with some hammer-ons and some pull-offs. And this is already going to be quite a strange pattern because it starts with a hammer-on and finishes with a pull-off. So you start off on the 4th fret of the high E, hammer on to the 5th, and then pull off. You're going to go up to the 5th fret, hammer on to the 7th and pull off, to an open. You're going to go down to the 7th fret of the B, hammer on to the 9th twice, slide up to the 10th. So this next pattern, you're going to pick the fretted note and pull off to an open string after every one. It goes 9th, 10th, 12th, 10th, 9th, 7th, 9th. Finishing on the 10th. So that whole section. Then the second half, you repeat that. Finishing on the 7th, and then you're going to hit the 12th fret of the high E string, bend up a whole tone and come back down again. And finish off with a bit of vibrato. Now the harmony comes in underneath the 7th and 9th hammer-ons and slide up to the 10th. So you would hit the 4th fret of the B, hammer on to the 5th twice, and then slide up to the 7th. Okay, so the rhythm guitar underneath the solo is going to go a little like this. So you're basically following the strumming pattern of the pre-solo, down, up, down, but you're going to be hitting an E5 to the power chord on the 2nd fret of the low E string, to a power chord on the 5th fret of the A string, to power chord on the 5th fret of the low E string. down to the 4th fret of the low E for 1, before repeating the pattern again. Okay, so the middle 8 is just double stabs. Quite easy, so you go open E to the 2nd fret of the low E to the 5th fret of the low E, and you've got a choice here. You can either go up to the 2nd fret of the A string or the 7th fret of the low E. Same chord, depends on how you prefer to play it. The lead guitar of the top is playing octaves, so he goes from the octave on the 6th fret of the A string up to the 7th fret. Up to the 9th fret to the 11th. Now, to get to the outro, we're going to follow the similar pattern of the first 2 choruses. Except this time we're going to add in a power chord on the 8th fret of the low E. Play it another time normal, and then every single time after this add in that 8th fret power chord on the low E. Okay, so the last section is all double stops. What you're going to do is you're going to put your first finger on the 9th fret of the G string, and you're going to bar across the 9th fret of the B. So you're going to play from the 9th to the 10th on the B string, holding on to that 9th on the G. Going up to the 12th, back down to the 10th, back down to the 9th, and then up to the 10th again. You're going to repeat the first part. Down to the 9th, double stop. And then you're going to play double stops across the 11th fret on the G and the D string. Down to the 9th on the G and the D. Finishing up on the 11th frets of the G and the D string. And then to finish the song, you're going to finish up on the 9th fret of the D and the G string.